There's a moment in every man's journey when silence becomes his loudest response. After the dust settles, after the texts stop, the arguments fade, and the emotions begin to cool, something deeper starts to unfold. She begins to feel the absence. Not the temporary kind, not the he'll be back kind, but the kind that settles in quietly and starts to echo through the moments she once shared with you. And the truth is, it rarely hits her immediately. At first, she appears fine. In fact, she might even seem better off. She posts selfies, laughs with friends, maybe even goes on dates. You wonder, was I that easy to forget? But what you're seeing is the mask, the curated image. Because for a while, her ego still believes she made the right decision. She might tell herself you didn't care enough, or that she deserves more. It's a self-defense mechanism. Letting go hurts, even when you're the one who walked away, but give it time and something shifts. This is when she starts sending breadcrumbs, little signals that seem casual, but are calculated. Maybe she likes an old photo of yours. Maybe she views every story you post, always the first to watch. Or maybe she sends a message that says, "Hey, saw something that reminded me of you." To an outsider, it seems innocent, but you know better. These aren't coincidences, they're tests, probes, her way of knocking without having to face the door. I call it silent reaching, because she doesn't want to be obvious. She doesn't want to look like she cares too much. She's hoping you'll do the heavy lifting, that you'll pick up the thread and start pulling. But here's the thing, this isn't about you. It's about her starting to reflect. The silence you've held, the space you've honored it, confronting her with a version of you she wasn't prepared to lose. Not the desperate man who chased, but the grounded man who walked away without making noise. And it's in that absence that the reality sets in. The late night scrolls where she stumbles on your old messages, the sudden memory that hits while hearing your favorite song, the laugh that escapes her lips only to remind her of yours. That's when she starts to feel it, not just your absence, but your value, your energy, your stability, your consistency. It's not always love that brings her back, it's the realization of what she overlooked, what she dismissed. And often, it comes too late. Because by the time she realizes what she lost, you've evolved. You've grown. You've detached, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. So when those breadcrumbs come, pause, observe, don't chase. Her feelings are not your responsibility. They're a reflection of what she didn't understand before. Your job now isn't to interpret them, it's to honor your silence and remember why you walked away in the first place. When she finally reaches out, it rarely sounds emotional. She won't open with, "I miss you," or "I made a mistake." Instead, it'll be something light, harmless on the surface. "Hey, how have you been?" Or "I saw something funny and thought of you." It's intentional. She's testing the waters. Emotional vulnerability is dangerous, and no one wants to feel rejected twice. So she approaches from a safe distance, using casual words to mask deeper uncertainty. What's really happening is emotional self-protection. She's not sure where she stands with you anymore. Is the door still open? Would you welcome her back or leave her unread? That unknown is terrifying. So she probes gently, hoping to feel some warmth without stepping fully into the fire. She doesn't want to look weak, but she also can't ignore the pull. The silence, your distance, your growth, it's unsettling for her. She expected you to reach out, to crack under the weight of separation, but you didn't. That's what makes this moment matter. In these moments, it's easy to mistake her message for sincerity. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. The key is to stay grounded. Respond if you want, but don't let nostalgia cloud your clarity. Don't jump back in because it feels nice to be wanted again. Her message may come from a place of curiosity, regret, boredom, or genuine emotion, but it's not your job to solve that puzzle. Your job is to stay aligned with your standards and your progress. Let her speak without assuming her intention. Let her explain herself, if she truly wants to. But don't fill in the blanks for her. A woman who really wants back in will do more than drop hints. She'll own her part. Until then, keep your clarity intact. Absence does something that words never can. It brings clarity. When you remove your presence from someone's life, it creates a vacuum, a noticeable silence that forces reflection. In the beginning, she may convince herself that you'll return eventually. She believes your silence is temporary, that it's just part of the emotional back. But as time passes and there's no call, no message, no reaction, something inside her starts to shift. The reality begins to settle in. Maybe he's really gone. That's when fear creeps in, not just fear of losing you, but fear of what loss means. She begins to revisit the moments you shared, but now through a lens of absence. She wonders if she took you for granted, if she misjudged your value, if she pushed away someone who genuinely cared. This fear isn't always about love, it's about loss aversion. Psychology tells us that humans are wired to fear losing something more than they enjoy gaining something new. Your silence triggers that instinct. What once felt like control, her decision to walk away or emotionally detached, now feels like uncertainty. And that uncertainty breeds anxiety. When she sees that you've stopped checking in, that you're not chasing, that you're focused on your own life, it flips a switch in her mind. Now she's the one wondering. Your distance becomes power, not because you're playing games, but because you're choosing peace. Growth during no contact isn't just about moving on, it's about leveling up. So when her fear begins to show through subtle actions or delayed regret, remember, that's her process, not your responsibility. Stay the course. Her realization doesn't mean you owe her a response. It simply confirms what you already knew: your presence was never the problem. Your absence just proved it. Sometimes reconnection isn't a trap, it's a test of growth. Not every breakup ends because of betrayal or deep wounds. Sometimes it's timing, stress, immaturity, or simple misunderstandings. In those cases, there's room for reflection and honest conversation. But the key is knowing why the relationship ended. Was it external pressure or internal chaos? Were you both good people caught in a bad moment, or were you two incompatible at the core? A second chance can work, but only if both people have evolved. If she reaches out with sincerity, not breadcrumbs, and you sense real growth behind her, words not just nostalgia or loneliness, it may be worth exploring. But even then, proceed with caution. Don't be led by emotion, be led by clarity. Ask yourself, is this about unfinished love, or is it about not wanting to feel alone? One couple I know broke up due to conflicting schedules and burnout. They didn't stop loving each other, they just couldn't make it work at the time. Months later, they reconnected by chance, had an honest talk, and realized the breakup wasn't due to a lack of love, it was due to a lack of alignment. They gave it another shot, and now they're building something stronger. But that's rare. It only worked because both had done the work during the time apart. But if the breakup was built on lies, disrespect, or patterns that never changed, then reconnection isn't redemption, it's regression. Don't let old feelings blind you to old behaviors. Just because someone returns doesn't mean they've changed. And just because you miss her doesn't mean you belong together. Before you say yes to someone from your past, ask yourself if the version of you now would even choose her again. If the answer isn't clear, maybe that is your answer. So she finally reaches out. Maybe it's a simple message: I've been thinking about you. Just a few words, but they hit with weight. And now, the choice is yours, not hers. Not the past years. In that moment, you're not just reacting to her, you're responding to the man you've become. This is where emotional strength matters most. It's easy to fall into old patterns, to confuse familiarity with connection, but you have to ask yourself, what do you really want? It's tempting to return to something you once cared about, but remember, a bridge only connects two sides. If you cross it, you're leaving one behind. So, what do you risk losing by going back? Your peace, your progress, your self-worth. Relationships don't fail by accident. They break because the foundation was weak or the growth wasn't mutual. Going back doesn't guarantee repair, it often guarantees repetition. She might genuinely regret losing you. She might truly miss you. But your job isn't to heal her. Your job is to protect your growth. You didn't go through all that pain just to circle back to what broke you. The real win isn't getting her back, it's knowing you don't need her back to feel whole. Growth means choosing yourself. Even when the past knocks softly, don't answer out of habit, answer from your evolution. Because when a man knows his worth, not even the past can distract him from his future. And sometimes, the strongest move is the one where you keep walking forward alone, clear, and unshaken.